everyone, Jason Sipple here, and today's webinar is a game changer. We're unlocking the secrets of the infinite banking concept, a powerful strategy that gives you back control by taking back ownership and making your system a privatized system. In the next few minutes, we're going to unravel the three most common mistakes and misconceptions, empower you to make that revolutionary shift in your financial approach. So welcome, Founding Fathers. I'm excited. I'm excited that you're here again. I'm excited to guide you through the infinite banking concept like we do each and every week. A financial strategy that's not just for the wealthy anymore. It's for everyone. It's for anyone who understands that if we keep following the current system, we're going off the rails. And I want you to understand that you can take back control. But before we dive into that, let me share the bigger picture with you. So imagine a world. Imagine breaking free from the masses. Imagine financing 3.0. We've been living for over a century in financing 2.0, and it's costing us our freedom. And this experiment, which I'll talk more about, we're going to unravel a new breed of privatized bankers, individuals that are valuing themselves, they're valuing their future, they're thinking long-term, and they're taking back control so they can thrive. So are you interested? Well, let's get rolling. Breaking free of living paycheck to paycheck. That's what we're going to talk about first. We're going to talk about the things that are currently happening, the things that are already happening in the day-to-day that we don't even realize it all the time. We're not even aware because we've been groomed since we were just little ones, just little kiddos, little grommets. We've been groomed to give up control. We've been taught to assume all the risk, and that's what's costing us our freedom. So what's currently happening in 1978, we had the Income Act change, and that what happened is people were living longer, we're getting healthier, or at least we're having a longer life expectancy. We're going from living in our 60s to our 70s and our 80s, and it's getting longer and longer, and that's going to continue to happen. So what happened? All of the big companies said, whoa, wait a minute. These pensions that we promised once someone retires, they're getting really expensive. They're getting really costly, and they're going to bankrupt us. So what happened? We made a shift, and we said, you know what? We're going to give it back to you guys. We're going to give it back to the employees. You guys own it. And we're all like, woo, we got these plans now for the future. We're all set. We're going to work. We're going to put our money in there, and it's going to work out. And let me ask you, how's that working out? What do you know about your qualified plan? And by the way, sure, it's a secret. The secret is the government is your partner, your silent partner. Like, how would you feel? You start a new company, and you're all excited and you're pushing that rock up that hill, and it doesn't matter what anybody says to you, you're going to keep going because you know whether, whatever your business is, whether you're out there providing a service or you're selling something, but you know what you're doing matters, and you're helping people, and you're working so hard, you're working long hours, you're hiring people, you're finding the right who's, and the business slowly starts to grow. And you're working and you're working, and it slowly grows, and the arduous shifts, and now you're becoming profitable. And then as you're growing, and I want you to pop in the chat how you feel when I hit the punchline here, you feel like you're getting empowered because your business is growing. People love the service you're providing or the thing you're selling, and you're adding so much value to the world. And now you start making money, and you start building your team, and you're feeling really good. And then you keep growing, you grow this big business. And then you get to the end when you're ready to stop, and your silent partner goes, hey, Jason, hey, I'm going to need my cut now. And you're like, what? Wait a minute. What do you mean you need your cut? That's what's happening now. We've decided in financing 2.0 that we're going to give up control. We're going to let someone else dictate what happens later on, and we don't even know the rules. We don't even know what's going to happen in our financial plans or what's going to happen with the banking system. We're taking on that risk. We're assuming that someone else has got us. But guess what? The Social Security Administration shows us that 95% of retirees are retiring financially insecure. Now, what's that mean? What's financially insecure mean? It means that they still have to work. All those old folks that you see at the grocery or somewhere else still working, and you're thinking, wow, they're so happy, they're so nice. They must just want to be around people. Yes and no, they don't have enough money not to do that. Is that what you want for yourself? And they're waiting for that one day someday. So I'm going to just challenge you. You have philosophies, you have rules already. What are they for your finances? Pop it in the chat. What are the rules that you currently have for yourself? What is your financial philosophy? I'm going to offer you one that I think Warren Buffett would really approve of, because what's Warren's number one rule of investing? It's don't lose money. What's his number two rule? See number one. His number three rule? See number one and two. It's that simple. So I'm going to say that my philosophy that I adopted a little over 3 years ago is there's more to be had from avoiding the losses than there is from picking the winners. More to be had from avoiding the losses. Remember, we're going to talk about this, what happens with an investment, the losses, than picking the winners. We want control. We want stability. I can read your mind. Everyone here, we all want the same thing. It doesn't matter where you live, whether you're in California or Jersey or New Mexico or Florida like me. It doesn't matter. You all want the same thing. You want more money, you want more time freedom, and you want more magic, more feelings, more memories. And all of that equals one word. Pop in the chat. What does that mean? It means freedom, like William Wallace. Have some fun. Be light, be fun. Okay, so I'm taking a little longer saying what's currently happening because I want you to really understand that we're all heading towards like the Titanic, towards this giant iceberg. And we got the other boats calling us and being typing out Morse code like, hey, dude, big old iceberg up ahead. And you're so intent on getting to Greenland and getting to the US, you're like, shut it. I don't want to hear it. I'm just going to party on this boat with all these other really cool people. We're all good. All 95% of us are good on this boat. And then we know what happens. It went down. So I'm just giving you an alternative that you take back radical ownership, that you ask yourself better questions, and let's dive into it. Let's dive into the 3 most common mistakes that I find in my infinite banking conversations. So pop in the chat what you think they are. Give me a 1, 2, 3. Give me some guesses. There's no wrong answers. Participation is one of the best ways to learn. One of the best things I think about all the time is how can we learn this faster? How can we learn new skills without all of the fear? Because unfortunately, when I go through this, you guys are going to have some reactions to some of it because it's going to feel really close to home. It's going to be something that is really, it's going to feel really, really close to home. And it's going to say, hey, I know people that's happened to, or that's happened to me. And that's what I'm going to go through. And we're going to talk about this. So the 3 most common IBC mistakes on a high level. And again, welcome founding fathers. So blessed and excited to have you here to talk about the infinite banking concept again. And today we're diving into the 3 most common IBC mistakes and how you can avoid them, and how you can, instead of seeing it as a mistake, you see it as a lesson and a blessing, and you can adopt it to make you more powerful and certain in what you're doing. So number 1, all the time, IBC is not an investment. I hear these words come out of so many folks' mouths, and I'm going to read, well, in my memory, I'm going to share something that my wife's grandfather had put over her door in her room. So she read it every day. It's by Gandhi, and now it's in all of our bedrooms. So if you like this, it's a simple thing to print it out, but just all of our beliefs become our thoughts. Our thoughts become our words become our actions, and our actions become our habits become our values, and those values become our destiny. So when you hear yourself saying, hey, I want to invest in infinite banking, just know that there's an optimal way to look at it, that it is not an investment. This is a foundational wealth building tool used by the wealthiest families, used by the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the Morgans, the Stanleys, trailblazers like Ray Kroc, the starter of McDonald's, and visionaries like Walt Disney. Number two is wanting it now. We live in this consumer world where we're over $1 trillion in credit card debt because we want it now. We went in lockdown and we were responsible. We started saving more money. If you could guess in the chat, how much do you think we were saving during the pandemic as a group, as citizens? We were saving like 25 to 35%. Now our savings are down back under 5% of what we make. So that means if you make $1, you're giving 95% of that away to somebody else. The first rule about being wealthy is pay yourself 10% before any of your bills, any of your food. Take 10% off the top. That only goes to you. And then if you like, you can have another 10% tithe. And you set up your life like that. Again, a philosophy and what's yours. Write this stuff down too as we go through this. And number three, after wanting it now, it's not an investment. You think it's not for you. You think, well, hey, look at them over there. Look at my partners. Brent Kessler started the Money Multiplier, learned from R. Nelson Nash. My mentor learned from R. Nelson Nash. Chris Noggle learned from Brent. Look at these folks. They all have 8, 10, 28 policies. Man, I'd love to be like them, but I'm not like them. Guess what? Every single one of them started with one step first. They all decided to adopt a philosophy, to test it out, to see if it works. Well, some jumped into the deep end right away. That's like every call I have. You're either going to dip your toes in the water, you're going to jump wade up to your waist, or you're going to jump in the deep end and just figure out how to swim. We all have different personalities, and you have to meet yourself where you're at today. But the only way to make progress is what? By taking action. We got to be like Nike. Let's go deeper. Let's go deeper into the 3 most common mistakes. Break them down, back down into the micro, one by one. So the first mistake is seeing IBC as an investment. I went through this a little bit already, but an investment, as I said I said this to Brian, who's here today earlier on the phone, an investment is an open bucket. It has no lid. An investment is I'm going to vet this. I know about this. I like it. I think I understand it. I'm going to put my money in it, and I'm going to hope it works out. I'm going to hope I get that return that's promised, or maybe it's even a little bit better. And sometimes I've done this. Sometimes we get in the point where we're like, man, all I have is liabilities. I want some assets. Does that resonate with you guys? If you've ever felt like that, man, I want some more assets. I want some passive income. I want my little green men to go to work for me so I don't have to work so damn hard. Or it's the same mentality as the Lottos. Lottos build lots of beautiful schools here in Florida, but guess what? It's someone that's just hoping for that one day, that big thing that's going to just give them a giant return without doing any work. And that's not how a good investment works. A good investment is really understanding what's happening, and you're trying to mitigate the risk. But the fact is, investments are never guaranteed. Never. Even if they give you a guarantee on the box, like in Tommy Boy, you could bleep in a box and put a guarantee on it, and then you have bleep in a box with a guarantee. That's what investments are. They have an open roof. So why do you want to do infinite banking? Why introduce infinite banking into your philosophy? Because it's a foundation. It is cement. It is concrete. It is guaranteed contractually by the most powerful financial institutions in our country. And by the way, the oldest financial institutions in our country. Have you ever heard of, look back in our history, have you ever heard of one of these large multi-billion-dollar 100-plus-year-old, A-plus rated or better, mutually owned, which means that we own it, the policy owners own the company, dividend-paying whole life companies ever being bailed out by the government? No. Who's getting bailed out by the government? The banks. The banks. So what do we want to do? We want to say, hey, let's build this guaranteed foundation first, and then we collateralize. We use that money to go out and take the dollar in our left hand, this dollar here, and put it in our right hand out in an investment, or recapturing, recycling money, or keeping the wealth in our family. But it always runs through the guaranteed appreciating asset foundation first. This is how it was taught to me as an and. Write this down. A-N-D. And asset. It's an and asset because it takes your money instantly And what? It multiplies into two. $1 becomes two instantly. And that's the magic. That's what money multiplying is about. And that's compounding uninterrupted interest. Like we took Einstein's eighth wonder of the world and we say, okay, let's make that uninterrupted forever. If Einstein was here to talk about this now, I'd love to hear some of his quotes. That man has some of my favorite quotes ever. So let's jump in and look at number two. What is the second biggest problem or the second biggest misconception mistake that we have as far as infinite banking? So number one is seeing it as an investment. It is not an investment. It is a foundation. It's a tool. It's a philosophy. It's a concept. It's nothing more. Okay. And like our genius Will Rogers said, the problem in America isn't what we don't know, it's what we think we know that just ain't so. Okay. And so number two is the discipline, overlooking discipline. I'm going to ask you guys a question. If you want to pop it in the chat, I would love to see your answers. What are, and guys, I can already read your mind. I already know the first answer and I know the second answer too, and they're not right. But I'm going to ask you anyhow because it's fun. What do you think the two biggest pains in life are? I ask this question all the time. So if you guys are hanging around here, you guys will see this. What's the two biggest pains in life? Well, the two types of pain in life. No answers? Nobody yet? Anybody brave? Felix, Frank, Mark, anybody? Brian? There we go. Derek knows the answer, my man. So the pain of regret or the pain of discipline, you choose. And I was joking because I was saying all guys are thinking it's marriage and taxes. They might be painful, right? They might be painful, but is the pain of regret or the pain of discipline? You choose. It's like Henry Ford said, whether you think you're right or you think you're wrong, either way, you're right. Either way, you're right. So what happens is we overlook the discipline, the long game. Nelson Nash, who brought this, strategy used by the wealthiest families I mentioned earlier, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, all of those big, the Morgans, the Stanleys, like the icons of money and building this country and institutions and all the things they've done. But the first thing they understood was the long game. Nelson Nash had a forestry background. He understood that the long game wasn't how much money is available in the first 30 days, even though we can do that. They understood that it wasn't a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now. This is a marathon. And I always like to say, dude, I'm never running a marathon. I did it once and I was slower than Oprah. I'm not running a marathon unless I swim 2.4 miles and bike 112 or more, if you're doing Chattanooga, miles before I jump onto that marathon, that 26.2 mile run. And you guys are thinking, what are you talking about, Jason? I'm just talking about it's the long game. We got to think generationally, multi-generationally. We got to think about now this is a 30-year, a 50-year, a 70-year plan. And that's how we start thinking about our life. Everything will slow down. Life will happen slower when we have more patience, when we understand it's not about tomorrow. It's about learning the process. Right now, we're all white belts in IBC. I'm probably somewhere around maybe like a purple belt because I have 4 policies. I've been practicing. I've recaptured all of our money. But there's so much more as far as setting up the whole banking system that you'll never need to go to a conventional bank again, other than the convenience of their checking. So R. Nelson Nash taught us we got to think long term. It's the first principle we teach. Okay. So now we've gone over the first two. One, IBC is what? It's not an investment. Number two is it is a long game. It's a marathon. It's an extended, it's an ultra. It is a long, long distance, but we can accomplish things by helping you make progress immediately. Because why? What I want for everybody is I want them to take radical ownership of this. I want them to see it works and then apply it. And when you apply it, progress equals happiness and it equals freedom. Last week we were on a family vacation and we went to the same place. The first time my family ever saw snow, we went to Park City in 2020, and I took out almost half or more than half of my qualified plan. And I took it out because I thought when I made this assumption that I could make this $100,000 by investing in myself. Our greatest asset is ourselves, like what we become. And I'll give my family a little magic. and I'll take them. And when I was on that trip, it was amazing. It was awesome. It was everything I dreamed of. Everyone was super stoked. My one son's crashing in the trees, having fun, and just wanting to hang out afterwards. And it was super, super cool. We all had a blast. We all wanted to do it again. But what I realized as the father, as a founding father, is all that money is gone. Everything I spent on the trip is gone forever. We will never earn any money on that money again. So this year, last week, when we were in Park City again, skiing and having the time of our lives, we paid for that with our infinite banking policies. We paid for that with our foundation. And I paid the money back already. And now what's happening? We had the trip. Yes, you still have to pay for it, but we took the money out, borrowed against our cash value. We paid it back, and now we have all of that money again. It's incredible. So now I'm going to jump forward and go into the third biggest misconception. Anybody got any guesses? We got some good guesses with the two different types of pain in life. Remember, discipline and regret. And the more you guys write down, just have at least one takeaway from today that you're going to apply. Because the last thing I want you to do is just listen to this, be entertained by it, please. Interject, interact, meet each other, have fun. But the last thing I want for anyone is for you to walk away and just think about doing it. Go learn something, go look something up, go check things out, be a fact checker, be a doer, be someone that's going to come in and add that value right away. And the last one, we talked about this a little bit already. The third biggest misconception, the biggest mistake around IBC is we think it's over there. This is for the wealthy. I don't have 20,000, Jason. I don't have 10,000. I don't have 50,000. I don't have $100,000 just to dump in right away. That's okay. Would you all agree, at least pop in the chat, yes or no? Would you agree that the wealthy have more choices than most of us? More choices. And they have those choices for a number of reasons, but would you say that's a fair statement? I would say, I think it is. I've asked a lot of people, and they believe that the wealthy have more choices. And here's why I ask this. Because the way that you pay your premium deposit, the way that you set up your banking system, you can pay it monthly or you can pay it annually. And you can switch that mode of payment every year. Whatever's going to best serve you and your family, that's what you can do. And you have flexibility in it. I'm not going to go into design today, but just know that as long as you're putting in enough to solve your problem, right? Some will get, like Chris might tell you, hey, it's 10 times your age. I say yes if you're starting really young. And one of the things I've been thinking about, like as we're in our financial 2.0 lives, and this is probably going to be the next webinar, or will be, is we have financial 3.0 now, which requires a lot more work on your part. It requires you to have a philosophy. It requires you to take back control of the money. It requires you to want something different, to know what your long-term vision is, to know that you want a quality of life that you're not seeing your parents and grandparents perhaps have, because once they retire, they slow down. They don't have anything to look forward to. They're no longer creating, and a lot of them aren't financially stable, and they're just going to whatever they can get and surviving. Who wants to survive? I love survival, but let's thrive. Let's thrive. Let's grow as founding fathers together. And so let's move on from here. What are the problems that I see infinite banking solving for so many people? I mean, over 2,000 calls. We have over 10,000 people we've already helped set up their policies. And guess what? 91% of them are coming back because they want to start more. But a lot of them never make it to the end because they've got all the 95% telling them, dude, it's not for you, it's for the wealthy. Dude, it's an investment. You better be careful, because they've lost their shirt in something else. I'd even talk about some of the worst horror stories I've heard from investments when people just lose all their money. It just happened to a close personal friend. I don't know the whole story yet, but I know she got taken for almost all of her money. And I'm praying that some of it comes back to her somehow. So the 5 most common opportunities and problems that we can use infinite banking to build our foundation, to build our future freedom, to take back control, to have a tax-free, guaranteed appreciating asset that comes out tax-free when we need the money, and we can put it back, keeping it all in our family, are number 1, debt. We can turn our debts into an asset. As long as we have some surplus money, some savings, and we have some discipline, we can take back control, and we all wear a bunch of hats, right? Like everyone here is probably a spouse or a father or at least a son, like, and we're an employee or employer or all of these different things. Maybe we're athletes, maybe we're an artist, maybe you're a writer. We're all different things. How about being a banker? We're borrowers, we're debtors. US is great at that. What if we become a banker? What if we turn a dollar into two? What if we go back and we take back control of our debt by collateralizing our money by first you have to put the money in, build the cash value, and then when you're ready, whether it takes a little bit of time or it's immediate in the first 30 days, you take the loan, you pay off the debt, and you say, hey, bank, see ya. I'm going to take all of the interest, all the principal, and I'm going to pay it back to my family. And I'm going to keep that in my family forever. That's usually the biggest problem I see. That's number one. Number two is folks that have lazy money sitting around. I talked to a guy the other day, 150 grand sitting in a conventional bank. And I was like, it's kind of risky. I didn't let him know that, but it felt kind of risky to me because now you got money sitting there. It's losing power every day with inflation. It is not protected and it's not growing. He's probably making 0.07% on that money. Or if he has it in a high return savings account, then maybe he's making 4%. But that's not guaranteed. That's going to shift. When stuff goes downhill later this year, which I'm pretty sure it will, that's not going to be protected for him. And so that lazy money, why not shift it? Why not put it where the banks put it and protect it and have it grow forever and be able to use it if you need a glorified saving plan? Number three is your major capital purchases, all the cars that you've ever bought. Imagine after the car number two, tell me this, has anyone here ever bought a car and then actually kept 80 cents of every dollar in their family and by the second car actually made money on the car? Ever? Or every time we buy 9 to 10 cars during our lifetime, typically on average, imagine if every car you bought from here forward, you kept the majority of the money or made money. That would shift things, wouldn't it? Vacations, cars, whatever you can think of, you can do. Number four is, hey, our kids are costing us a ton of money. There's a study that they're called the PINK. I don't remember what the acronym means, but it's basically the people that have their kids have moved out and now they have all this extra income because we spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on our kids' college and helping them get started and raising them. And now when they leave, we're all of a sudden like, wow, where'd all this money come from? Imagine if you could use your system to keep all that money in the family so it never leaves. That'd be amazing. And the fifth one is investments. How do you use this system to have it growing in a guaranteed bucket and then going out into the investment? So you have your same dollar working in two places. That's what the banks are doing. That's what the banks are doing. So if you have your money, you have your cash value, you borrow against it, and now you put it into like private money club where you're finding a builder, a developer that you like, that you vetted, that has a great track record, that you have, you haven't looked over by attorney. And by the way, I'm not a financial advisor, so please don't take any of this. My disclaimer, not financial advice. I'm just telling you what I see other successful people who have taken back control of their money with that philosophy of there's more to be had from avoiding the losses than there is from picking the winners. And so these are the 5 most common things that infinite banking solves, but I can tell you, if you rethink your thinking, I'm sure you come up with some other ones. One of the ones I will talk about in the future is how we used our infinite banking, our 4th policy, to pay our payroll taxes. And by the 3rd year, we'll make money paying the payroll taxes. Who wants to make money paying your taxes, right? Felix said that's a pain point. If you make money on it, it's not so painful. I think that is going to be some fun additional things that we will talk about. Everyone here, we went through Founding Fathers together today. We explored the 3 biggest misconceptions and mistakes made in the infinite banking thought process. Because remember, this is a philosophy. It's a concept. It's a process that you can take back ownership of. And so if you're ready to build your financial freedom, if you're ready to keep learning with me, subscribe to the channel. Pound that subscribe button. Get alerted when new videos are coming out. There'll be a few coming out every week. And remember, if you're looking to build your foundation through your debts and expenses, if you want to pay for your lifestyle through your banking, or you're looking to create that legacy, all of these things are possible once you adopt the philosophy of infinite banking. So blessed to be here with you guys. It's amazing that we had such a great turnout today. Be proud of yourselves. You are one of the few, one of the people that are investing in themselves, one of the 5%. You are in rarefied air. Remember, the people that you surround yourself with, the top 5, are going to be a direct reflection of the quality of your life. So think about that. Keep surrounding yourself with people that are challenging the normal. Don't be the 95% that are failing and financially insecure because they're trusting someone else is going to do the right thing by them. Learn how you can do it yourself. Until next time, I'll see you soon. Have a blessed day.